Who wants to start? Tony?
Just a day for Nimmo.
Yeah, just a day. This 13, I think we're playing. He never wants to come out of the lineup, but looking at the matchups and all that, I told him I'm looking at potentially the Sanchez matchup. And, he's never going to say yes, but he's like, I'm going to leave it up to you. So I decided that today was the day.
In the middle?
Hector Bochin with Latino Sports. Carlos, right now the Mets are tied with the Dodgers and Padres for the best record in baseball. Can you speak on the importance of getting to this good of a head start for this part of the season?
I mean, it's early. It's way too early. I think it's good that, we're winning games and we continue to win series, and that's our goal, to continue to win series throughout the year. But understanding that we got ways to go. But it's good to see the guys preparing, competing, going out there, executing, and getting results this early. We understand there's a lot of good teams out there, especially in the National League. There's a lot of competition, and we just got to take it one day at a time. So,
Tim?
What challenge do the Phillies specifically present for Griffin Canning tonight?
well, they're a good lineup. That's a deep lineup. It's balanced. And the one thing that they're doing this year, it seems like they're not chasing. This is a team that they're forcing pitchers in the strike zone, and they got good hitters 1 through 9, and not only for Griffin but for all of them. And but again, we got to stick to our strength and attack them. So. It's balanced. They got guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark, guys that can put the ball in play. They got speed. So, they're good.
Abby?
How have you seen the bullpen guys push each other? Is it like a friendly, encouraging thing? Is it more of a competitive thing? Just what's their dynamic like?
I feel like it's contagious. It's like hitting. When one guy goes, then before you know it, you got 3-4 guys that are going as well. Same thing with the bullpen. Guy takes the ball, goes out there, and the guy's behind him is like, all right, I got to follow up that. And I think just feeding off each other. I think we got experience there. We got guys, whether it's a Stanek, Minter, Sugar, but that are helping some of the other guys that. They got experience too. So I think they're just continue to have those dialogues and bouncing ideas of each other, and how can they complement each other. So I think it's just it's contagious.
Howard?
Mendy, in terms of your catching breakdown, having the extra month before you see Alvarez, I wonder, does it change your ability to potentially push him more later in the season? Do you have a sort of a theory about how often your catchers ought to play, and then what role does the way that Terrence has been able to play shape that for your thinking as well?
Yeah, look, Alvy's our guy, but we've been very, very pleased with how Louis and Sanger, right? And then we just got to see how he plays out, I'm going to try to keep it, find a balance and keep both catchers somewhat active. In this case for Alvy, when he's here, he'll play, but at the same time I have to take care of him. The schedule, depending how many days in a row we're playing, day games, night games, and things like that, we'll play a lot when we're making these decisions. And the biggest thing that we keep these guys fresh and ready to go.
Do you have a number in mind? Do you tend to think in terms of
No,
games?
yeah, we'll play by ear.
Mike?
And Acuna's still relatively short time in the big leagues, going back to last year. I mean, his role or projected role has kind of changed multiple times already. Like, he's filling in every day for Francisco Lindor, and then spring training he's looking to make the team. Then McNeil goes down, he's kind of a regular player again, and he's serving multiple purposes. That could be tough on veteran players, much less a guy as young as him and a touted prospect. It seems like he sort of handles that mental part of it seamlessly. What allows him to do that, and how do you think he's handled that part of it mentally?
Yeah, I'm proud of him. He's not easy, especially for a player his age that he's just, fighting for a spot here at the big league level. And before you know it, last year he comes up and we're in the middle of a pennant race, and he's got to play shortstop and replace, one of the best players. And, he did it pretty good. And then same thing, like you mentioned, spring training, competing for a roster spot, then not getting playing time now, he's taking advantage of every opportunity. I think he's just very steady. He doesn't get too high, too low. You got to give credit to people in player development that help him along the way. To prepare him for potential roles like this, you got to give credit to the coaching staff and a lot of people that are working with him behind the scenes to kind of keep him positive, kind of keep him ready. And he's taking advantage of every opportunity. He continues to grow, and that's what we want to see. We want to continue to see development at this level.
Dave?
Carlos, watching this pitching staff, obviously they're pitching very well, but have you looked at some of the numbers as far as a starter not allowing a home run for 10 straight starts, the strikeouts, the ERA barely over 2? I mean, have you checked out to see how well that is, how that translates?
Yeah, I know we're doing pretty good, but I don't want to get into the details of it. I know Hef and those guys are paying attention to the things that we need to be doing, but I think it just comes down to sticking to our strength, executing pitches, executing game plans. We're gonna give up homers. That's gonna happen. We're gonna have games that are gonna be hard for us. But in the meantime, not only the pitching but the catching, you got to give those guys credit being on the same page, and we're playing good defense behind those guys too. So there's a lot to like. But me personally, like looking at the numbers like that, I'd rather not to.
I mean, when you talked about it last night with Kranick, how you said you didn't realize that maybe he was getting a little more tired with 3 ups like that. When things are going that well pitching-wise, does that tend to not cloud your judgment, but you're kind of like, well, everybody's going so well, maybe get greedier than you would normally?
Yeah, no, like every game's important, and you go, the way I manage a game is, you win today and you worry about tomorrow. Yesterday with the decision, I knew I was pushing Kranick, but then you're having to use another guy might affect, today's game, and that's what, trying to get greedy there and steal outs, but knowing that I was asking a lot out of Kranick. The one thing with him is, you're going to get strikes. He just, they got him. But he's been great, and it's a good feeling to have guys that can go multiple innings and can help you any day.
Jorge?
Carlos, just with Francisco, is this small sample size, or he has 4 home runs against off fastballs, so he has 4 doubles against fastballs. He's slugging against fastballs. Is that small sample size, or are you seeing something different in his approach?
Lindor, right?
Yeah, Lindor, Francisco. Is that the thing, knowing that the guy behind him, guys are maybe going to attack him a little more?
Well, I mean, he also hit a homer yesterday on a breaking ball, the first at bat. But, maybe, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure teams want to attack him, and because not only he gets on base, he's going to put pressure on the bases too. And then what's behind him, they're pretty good hitters. So maybe there's an effect to it. But for me, they're still throwing breaking balls, and he's not chasing them. I mean, for me, that's been the key, because when he goes out and start chasing, he's going to be behind in counts. But when he's getting in good hitters count, he's going to get pitches to hit. So I think that's what we're seeing early on.
Howard?
Mandy, Jeff McNeil obviously got some time in center field during this rehab time. He's played a handful of games here. I'm wondering if you have talked to him about center field when he was here, and just related to it, sort of what your level of enthusiasm is for having him out there. Certainly there's a circumstance that's created.
He's a baseball player, and he loves it. I saw him here and say, hey, I saw the diving play. Like, I love it, So he's comfortable there. And we're comfortable with him playing any position. So there's a reason why we're preparing him in case we need him here. But this is a guy that versatility is one of the things that he provides. Not only in the infield but in the outfield as well. So we're adding center field to it. For me as a manager, not only when I'm making the lineup, when you're making in-game decisions in how you're going to potentially deploy your bench, it helps having guys like that.
Harp?
Carlos, when McGill throws those 3 changeups to Schwarber with the bases loaded last night. Is that Torrens leading the way there, or is that McGill wanting to throw that pitch, or is it a little bit of both? Or?
I think it's a little bit of both, because I think McGill is wearing the pitch com where he's calling his own pitches at times, and then Louis too. But I think it's just having the ability to read the situation, how they're swinging certain pitches, because yesterday was a case where McGill was using his fastball a lot and he was getting a lot of swing and misses. And in that situation with the bases loaded, for him to go to change a first pitch, getting a swing and miss, and then just keep going and ended up getting the strikeout, that's a good sign there, that he's got a good feel, like he's thinking along the way, and that's what we want to see out of these guys.
Daniel.
Carlos, ¿cuál ha sido el fuente de inspiración de los Mets del juego de estrella del año pasado? ¿Qué este equipo está jugando tan bien?
Tenemos buenos peloteros. Yo creo que ahí empieza todo. Tenemos buenos peloteros, un buen clubhouse, hay buena armonía. Los muchachos pues se divierten, se preparan y salen a competir. Hacemos un buen trabajo pues controlando las cosas que podemos controlar. Y gracias a Dios las cosas han salido bien. Es un grupo que pues ha pasado por adversidades y saben cómo manejar ciertas situaciones y cómo responder a esas adversidades, como te lo digo. Pero yo creo que empieza pues siendo un clubhouse bastante sano y con peloteros que son élite.
Tim.
Following up on the McNeil center field thing, would you be better off in a given game with McNeil in center and Acuna at second, or McNeil at second and Acuna in center?
I don't know that we'll be better off. I feel comfortable with both. I think it'll be matchup based. I think there's a lot that goes into the decision making, but I will feel comfortable with McNeil in second base and Acuna in center if that's the case, or the other way around. They're both good, so I wouldn't say that I feel better this way or the other way.
Thank you, Carlos.